I didn't realize I'd been there before until I saw the man standing behind me in the mirror. I was driving across the state for a wedding. Alone, Sikam. Middle of the night, nothing but trees and two-lane highway for hours. My gas tank hit empty just outside of some nameless town. I saw one of those old stations. Flickering sign, no cars, ancient pump. Felt like something out of a dream. Actually, it was out of a dream. I'd been here before. Same station, same sign, same crooked tire rack on the left side of the building, same red gas pump, faded and chipped. Everything was exactly how I remembered, but I'd never been here, not in real life. Only in dreams I used to have as a teenager. In them, I'd always be standing right here, under the buzzing light, cold wind, pump handle in hand, and then I'd feel someone behind me. I shook it off, told myself it was just déjà vu, the brain playing tricks. I swiped my card, pumped the gas, and tried to ignore the pressure building in my chest. But as I glanced at the window of the station office, I saw him, a man, standing just behind me in the reflection. But when I turned around, no one. I laughed nervously. Just stress, sleep deprivation, too much driving. But when I got back in the car, the clock on my dash read 2:17 a.m. And then something hit me. Every time I dreamt this place as a teen, the digital clock always said 2:17. That's when I looked in my rear view mirror and saw the man again. Closer, not behind me, inside the back seat. I spun around, empty. Nothing there. But the door was unlocked, and I swear there were fresh, wet footprints on the back seat. I sped off then without checking directions. Didn't even know what town I'd been in. All I knew was that I wasn't alone in that car for the first few miles. I could feel it. And now, weeks later, every time I close my eyes behind the wheel, I see that station again. And every time, I get closer to pulling in. At first, it was funny. Then it started happening with things I hadn't even thought yet. When I was 15, my younger sister, Abby, started copying me. Not in the usual annoying sibling way. She began saying things before I did. We'd be watching TV, and right as I was about to speak, she'd say my thought out loud. Word for word. It was freaky, but kind of hilarious at first. We chalked it up to being close. I mean, we were always together growing up, same jokes, same habits. So I let it go. Until one afternoon, I walked into the kitchen and she just looked at me and said, "You forgot your headphones." I stopped because I had, and I hadn't told anyone I was going out. That's when I asked her, "Abby, how did you know I was going to say that?" She didn't even blink. She just smiled and said, "Because you already did, yesterday." I didn't know what she meant, but the next few days things got worse. She'd wake me up before my alarm and tell me who was going to call me that day. She'd repeat things our parents hadn't even said yet. Once she looked at me and whispered, "Grandma's not gonna wake up tomorrow." We thought she was being dramatic, attention-seeking, but she was right. At that point, my mom took her to therapy. I overheard her explaining things to the doctor. She said her dreams weren't just dreams. They were memories that haven't happened yet, and that I was always in them, every time. She described conversations we hadn't had yet, rooms we hadn't been in, people we hadn't met, all of it in detail. I confronted her again. I asked if she was reading my texts or eavesdropping. She looked me in the eye and said, "You're going to ask me that again next week in the basement." I laughed it off until the following week. I found myself in the basement looking for something, and Abby walked down the stairs behind me. Before I even spoke, she said, "You're going to ask me that again." and I felt my chest go cold because I was about to say the exact same thing as before. That's when I realized this wasn't a game. She wasn't guessing. She was remembering. Abby doesn't talk much anymore. She writes everything in a notebook. Pages and pages of things that haven't happened yet. Sometimes I peek. A lot of it's gibberish, but sometimes I see my name. In full conversations I haven't had yet. Last week, she handed me a folded note before bed. I didn't read it. Today, after I got home from school, she was gone. Window open, room cold. And the note on my desk said, "Don't follow me. You already did once. It didn't end well." I haven't seen her since, but sometimes when I speak, I swear I hear her voice say it half a second earlier. When I opened my eyes, it was like nothing had changed. Same sounds, same sunlight, same words from the guy across the hall. But the date on my phone still said, yesterday. It started with a fall. I slipped walking down the stairs at my college dorm, hit the back of my head. Everything went black. I woke up in my bed, just like any other day. Except I already knew what everyone was going to say, word for word. I thought maybe it was the concussion. Until I walked into my 9 a.m. lecture and the exact same girl sneezed at the exact same time. Again. And again, by the fourth replay of the day, I was starting to panic. Nothing was changing. Every breath felt like deja vu on a loop. I even tried leaving campus early. But every road I took led me back to my dorm. Even the radio played the same exact broadcast. Word for word, I didn't tell anyone. Because who would believe that the day was repeating itself? Then something changed. Day 6, the janitor was mopping the floor near the science building. I'd seen him every single day of the loop. Same position, same movements, never said a word. But this time, he looked up and said, "This time, don't open the door." Then he kept mopping, like nothing had happened. What door? That's all I could think about. I didn't see one, not until 11:52 p.m. on the south side of the dorm building. Past the boiler room, a door that had never been there before. Metal, no handle, but I felt pulled toward it, like it knew I was coming. I reached out, and just before I touched it, I blacked out again. I woke up in bed, same sun, same voice from across the hall, same yesterday. This has been going on for months now, maybe years. I stopped counting. I've tried every door, every choice, every combination of words. Nothing works. And the janitor? He doesn't speak anymore. Just stares at me with this look, like he's waiting for something I haven't done yet. Last night there was something new. I saw myself standing outside the dorm window, watching me sleep. He looked exactly like me. Same clothes, same face, but older. Eyes wrong. Like he'd been stuck here much longer than me. And on the window, he wrote a message in the fog. "Don't open the door. He lies." Now, I don't know which version of me I can trust. All I know is, if tomorrow comes again, I might not wake up as myself. I first noticed her 2 nights after I moved in. 3rd floor, window across the alley. Always there, always watching. The apartment came cheap. Too cheap for a place in the city. But I didn't ask questions. I needed to get away from home. And it was quiet, almost too quiet. I was unpacking the night I saw her. Across the alley, old brick building, dark windows, except for one. Top floor, far right. The light was on and someone was standing in the window, perfectly still. A woman, pale, thin, long black hair. She didn't move, didn't blink, just stared. I figured she was a neighbor, maybe lonely, maybe nosy, whatever. But the next night, she was there again. Same place, same posture, same blank stare. Only this time the light in my apartment flickered for just a second, and when it came back on, she was closer to the glass. I stopped opening my curtains after that, but I could still feel her, like when you know someone's watching you in a crowded room. Except I was alone. Always alone. One night I couldn't take it anymore. I looked up her building, tried to figure out which unit was across from mine. Only, the building's been condemned since 2003. Top floors aren't even structurally safe. No tenants, no power, no one should be there. I went over anyway. Crossed the alley during the day, found a broken gate around the back. The stairs were falling apart. Rotten wood, mold, but I climbed them, one by one. On the third floor, last unit to the right, I found the window. Dust everywhere, shattered glass on the floor. No footprints, no lights, just a cracked mirror leaning against the wall. When I looked into it, I didn't see myself. I saw her, standing at my window, back in my apartment, watching. I ran, didn't stop till I hit the street. When I got back home, the lights were on, the window open, and my curtains pulled apart. She wasn't there anymore. But I don't think that means I'm alone. Because now, when I look out the window, I don't see her building at all, just bricks. And on the glass in the morning fog, a message written from the inside. Now it's your turn to watch.